What's up, everybody? AJ Trip here. Another reaction video from our friends over at List 25. 25 shocking rumors that are actually true. So let's see what this list is about. Let's see if we realize some rumors that are actually true. Maybe
whether it was a celebrity, a government, or a company, we can all remember at least one rumor that just so happened to be true. Of course, sometimes we expect it, but when we don't, it can be quite a surprise. I'm Mike with List 25, and these were 25 shocking rumors that are actually true. The government was spying on John Lennon. Although Lennon sounded really paranoid and stuck up at first, it eventually came to surface that the government was in fact spying on him. 24. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West named their daughter North. Once denied during a talk show interview, most people had little trouble believing it when the couple named their daughter Northwest. 23. South Korea was ruled by a cult leader. South Koreans are no longer surprised by political drama. Between corruption, dictators, strange rituals, you name it, South Korea's leaders have been a constant procession of failures and disappointments. But President Park Geun-hye's downfall has been especially intense. As it turns out, the rumors that she was the puppet of a shady Rasputin-type cult leader's daughter actually turned out to be true. Nothing is surprising anymore. 22. Atari buried unsold video games in the desert. Over the years, the Atari video game burial had become something of an urban legend. Atari went out into the New Mexico desert and buried all its unsold ET video games, one of the biggest flops in the history of gaming. Well, in 2014, the government of New Mexico went out into the desert to figure out the truth, and they found the video games. 21. Wow. Caitlyn Jenner being transgender. Rumors of wearing women's clothing and secretly wanting to become a woman became not so secret and turned out to be true. In September 2015, Bruce officially became Caitlyn after boldly stepping out with a public statement earlier that year. 20. Strom Thurmond had a biracial daughter outside of his marriage. If you don't know why this was so newsworthy, it's because you don't know who Strom Thurmond was. He was a U.S. politician and a hardcore believer in segregating or separating black and white communities. 19. That's why. Dr. Seuss, John Edwards, and Newt Gingrich all had affairs while their wives had cancer. What made these allegations unbelievable was that all three of these guys spoke strongly about family values. Sadly, as some commenters have said, quote, cheating on your wife before she dies is the only bipartisan thing the government has ever done. Gingrich is a Republican and Edwards is a Democrat. 18. The Manhattan Project. Nobody believed the people wearing the tinfoil hats when they warned us about the secret government project that could destroy the world. Well, it turns out they were right. Also, the government had recruited and pardoned Nazi scientists. 17. The government was spying on us. Here's another rumor that the conspiracy theorists were adamant about. Get real, we told them. The government can't do that. We have WikiLeaks to thank for clearing things up. So to clarify, yes, the government can and does spy on you. All the time. Sup, Robert? 16. Abuse by the Roman Catholic Church.
Oh, come on.
Before Spotlight blew the story wide open, it was something that everybody kind of suspected to some extent. The real story, however, was that the abuse had been actively covered up by the church. 15. Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities LLC was a Ponzi scheme. Harry Markopoulos worked for an investing firm in Boston when his boss told him to figure out how Madoff's hedge fund was getting so rich. His boss wanted to copy Madoff's strategies. In no time, Harry had mathematical proof that Madoff was running a financial scheme. He reported it to the SEC, but was ignored. It would take another 10 years before Madoff's scheme was figured out and shut down by the government. As a note, in spite of intentionally ruining thousands of lives, Bernie and other white-collar criminals received little more than a slap on the wrist. In contrast, the average person on death row is poor and uneducated. As they say, when you rob a bank, you get the death penalty. When the bank robs you, they get a bonus. 14. The colonies would rebel. The British Crown was actually quite good towards the colonists as far as those things go, and it was surprising that the relatively mild relationship would turn so sour. But hey, if the US had remained a part of Great Britain, it might have universal health care today. Gosh darn you, Canada. 13. Sony makes up fake reviews. David Manning was the made-up name for a marketing executive at Sony who always posted positive reviews on all their product releases. Apparently, lying was a lot easier before the internet. 12. Boris Johnson only supported Brexit because it would boost his political career. It turns out he even wrote an article against Brexit. If there's one thing you should learn from this list, politicians with integrity are the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
11. The US and UK overthrew the democratically elected leader of Iran and installed a dictator.
What?
If you've ever wondered why some people hate the West, it's because of stuff like this, officially called the 1953 Iranian coup d'etat. Imagine if Russia came in, ousted the US president, and then installed a dictator favorable to Russia. And why would they do that? Because they want access to the oil. This is exactly what the West did in Iran. 10. Donald Trump was a candidate for the presidency. Almost everybody joked about this at first. He who laughs last.
Laughs best.
9. Cops were framing people.
Yeah.
As I've already said, the internet has made it really hard to lie. It turns out that police officers really have been framing and targeting people. Moreover, social media has shown how police use excessive force against black males more than those from other communities. As I've already mentioned, it was easier to push this behavior under the rug before the internet. 8. There weren't weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
Of course.
Once again, the conspiracy theorists were right. 7. Azaria Chamberlain was actually eaten by a dingo.
Excuse me?
According to her parents, 2-year-old Azaria Chamberlain was taken from their tent in the Australian outback by a dingo. Her mother, Lindy Chamberlain, was convicted of murder and spent 3 years in jail until bits of Azaria's clothes were found near a dingo lair. In 2012, 32 years after Azaria's death, her parents' version of the story was officially confirmed. For years, however, the Australian public treated them as the murderers. 6.
Wow.
The military-industrial complex. It was actually General-turned-President Dwight Eisenhower who first warned us of this supposed military-industrial complex. After numerous leaks and Freedom of Information requests from government agencies, it turns out that he was right all along. It shouldn't be much of a surprise considering that the US spends more on guns than the next 8 largest spenders put together. 5. The housing market would implode. Nobody listened to the naysayers and just kept betting that house prices would never stop skyrocketing. In fact, many of those predicting the Great Recession were ridiculed. 4. Lance Armstrong was doping. So many people wanted to believe the rumors weren't true.
Yeah.
3. Most baseball players took steroids. Nobody took Jose Canseco seriously regardless of what he said.
Yeah.
So when he started talking about how up to 80% of players are taking performance enhancers, not many people believed him. Since then, though, even Congress has taken notice. 2. Cigarettes caused cancer. Thanks to a lot of lobbying from the cigarette industry, it took quite a while for people to realize the truth, in spite of doctors and scientists trying to warn people since the early 20th century. 1. The US government deliberately infected black men with syphilis. The subjects of this study were poor African Americans who were told they would receive free healthcare from the government. After 1940, when it was discovered that penicillin could cure syphilis, the men weren't given the drug. In fact, they weren't even told that they had syphilis. The study ended in 1972 due to a whistleblower named Peter Buxton. Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button in the bottom right so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with your friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want to see more lists, check out the 3 videos here or just head to our website at list25.com.
Great list, y'all. Great list. Great list. Once again, the people over at List 25 put out a list that is just incredible. It's funny, thought-provoking, gives you things that you maybe you did know and things that you don't know. This is why I subscribe to them. I suggest you subscribe to them, and I do reaction videos about them. It is just that was one of the best ones they've ever done. And so again, bow down to List 25 folks. Y'all are doing an epic job. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you thought. Did anything surprise you? Did some of those things that you know about? Things like that. Oh my God, that last one about taking black men with syphilis. It's no wonder why a lot of black men, especially older black men, they don't believe nothing about the government or anything. Because they totally have reasons to be untrustworthy of government officials and everything. So sometimes you wonder, as a younger black man, I'm 35, not that young, but but someone who didn't grow up with like those experiences or anything like that, or hearing any of those things, I sometimes wonder, what? It's just crazy. You bring up race every time. There's no need for that. But sometimes, as you can see, sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. Wow. Give this video a thumbs up. Share it with all your family and friends. Make sure you subscribe. Woo! 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 It's your boy AJ Trip, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.